I left El Paso and it was freezing, and now it's, 80 degrees and humid and all that stuff. You can see I'm sweating. Hi friends, so I'm starting the journey from El Paso to Austin. I'm actually flying out of there because I had this trip planned with my sister originally for her birthday. Now obviously I have the Carnival Elation worked into that, but I know it seems a little bit crazy to drive, 9 hours to catch a plane to fly another several hours, but it's just, I had expected to be up there a few days prior to hang out with her and stuff. And then afterwards, I'm driving down to San Antonio. Carlos is meeting there, and we're going to be looking at houses. So it's all kind of like worked into one trip that more or less makes sense. I need a car over there in order to do the house hunt. And so, yeah, I've made this drive several times before. I know I could just like fly over there and rent a car, but then it gets kind of more expensive, etc. So in a few months, I won't even have to worry about that because I'll be living in San Antonio, and that's only an hour and a half from my sister and, 3.5 hours from the Galveston cruise port. So yeah, flights are more direct and less expensive out of there as well. So I won't be having to drive a million miles every time I want to go on a cruise. But anyway, I'm not looking forward to the drive this morning. I got enough sleep finally, but I got it in like 3 different pieces. Didn't have very good, consistent sleep last night, so hopefully I'm not too tired when I get there. It's looking like I'm going to get there probably around 11 p.m., so it's going to be a long day, but I'm used to it. And I don't know what updates I'll have along the way. I should have at least one, and then, by the time I get there, I'll update you as well. But it's not obviously smart to be filming and driving, so I'll have to be updating you when I like pull over or stop for food or gas or whatever. But anyway, another adventure. Ready, set, go. We'll talk soon. All right, so I stopped for some food and some gas. I'm here in Junction, which is about 2 hours from my final destination, maybe 2.5. But yeah, it was time for some food, and my tank was almost on E. So that's the update. Not a whole lot to report. This is a long ass drive. I always forget how long this drive is until I'm actually doing it. I'm glad I won't have to do this much more in the future, because it's a lot. But anyway, it's all good. I'm gonna eat some McDonald's, and we'll talk soon. So we made it. I'm here. Remember when I got here last night and it was late?
Yeah, it was like 11:40.
Yeah.
It was very late.
So do you have anything else to say?
I'm happy he's here.
Yeah.
Woo-hoo.
So I'm going to be here for a couple of days, then I'm going to be on a cruise, and then you're going to meet me for another cruise. It's been a while since you've cruised.
For my birthday.
Last year.
Yeah.
So a whole year.
Yeah, and then this one's for my birthday too.
Something's happening over there, or what?
Oh, I just am watching people walking.
All right, well, we'll talk soon.
So I spent the rest of the day and part of the next day with Heather, and then she dropped me off at the airport in the afternoon. I'd flown out of and through Austin several times before, so I was obviously familiar with the airport, and I had some time to kill, so I grabbed a drink while I waited for my flight to board. And the Austin airport has no shortage of watering holes. Luckily, there were no delays, so before I knew it, I was on board my plane, and I had my go-to drink, Deep Eddy Lime Vodka with some 7-Up. Even though usually when I fly out of Austin, I almost always do direct flights, it's not always easy to find those into Jacksonville, so I did have a layover, which was good because it was definitely past dinner time at this point, so I grabbed some Chinese food and waited for my second flight to board. And I also took the opportunity to charge my phone up a little bit, and within about an hour I was going down the jet bridge and boarding the plane. Since I had just recently been in Jacksonville, I knew exactly where to go to get my bags and stuff, and then I made my way over to the hotel, which was the DoubleTree, where I stayed last time, which conveniently was right next to the airport.
Good morning, friends. It is cruise day. I'm about to go down and grab an Uber and head to the cruise port. But yeah, so exciting. I'll update you more once I get on board and everything. As far as coffee and all that, I'm not actually going to do that. This hotel is a little bit fancy. I stayed here because it's right next to the airport. I was actually able to walk over here, which was nice. But because it's higher end, it has a paid restaurant and there's a Starbucks downstairs. So as far as included coffee, I'm sure they have it, but I'm not going to go out of my way to find it. because my assumption is they want us to go to Starbucks or their restaurant. So, which I'm not going to do. But that's okay. Depending on how things are set up when I get to Miami for the cruise that's after this, the MSC Seascape, I will do a coffee review there with my sister. But anyway, this is the Elation vlog series, so let's talk about that. This is the DoubleTree by Hilton by the airport, which is where I stayed last time. I'm not in one of those garden rooms. I'm actually in a normal hotel room this time. But if you haven't seen my previous Carnival Elation vlogs, maybe go back and watch those too. Because that was a good cruise as well, and I loved it so much I'm back. We're getting this party started. I should be on board, I would say, in less than an hour from now, hopefully, depending on how crazy the lines are and stuff. I know the ship is at capacity, or maybe even a little over, so we'll see how that goes. But embarkation wasn't too bad last time, and we were also overbooked, so anyway, I'll keep you posted. We'll see what we see and do what we do, and we'll talk soon.
So I did the mobile checkout through the Hilton Honors app and then called the Uber, and the guy was there very quickly. And within a few minutes, we were pulling up to the ship. In between my two sailings, the Elation spent some time in dry dock, and one of the changes that they made was that they painted the new livery on her. And I could see right away the blue bottom and how that looked, and I'm a fan of that new paint scheme. Embarkation was really quick and painless, and before I knew it, I was making my way up the gangway and onto the ship. On Carnival Elation, at least in Jacksonville, you enter into the main lobby atrium, and it's really grand looking. I didn't see any major changes in here from the last time I was on board, but it still kind of like takes my breath away seeing the glass dome and everything at the top. It just has like classic ocean liner vibes to me in some ways. Carnival is still doing it so that you go to your muster station immediately upon getting on board, which I think is the best way to do it. And even with that, there's still people who have to get called later on in the day to go to their muster station because they didn't do it, and it's always, you know, like a big deal for some reason. But I'm hoping that they keep things that way because it does make things easier. And then after that was taken care of, I made my way up to the pool deck to look around, and there were people up there already living their best lives, so I grabbed a drink. I started out with a margarita from the Blue Iguana Tequila Bar. I like their Patron one, it goes down really smooth. And I also went over to the deli and grabbed a Cuban sandwich to have with it, and I actually ate outside a fresca. That's one thing about the Elation that I really love, is there's a lot of outdoor spaces to sit and eat and chill and relax. And while I was sitting there, they made the announcement that the cabins were ready, so when I was done, I made my way down to my room to drop off my stuff before going back up and across the outdoor deck to the back of the ship to record an update video for you all.
Alright y'all, so I am on board the Carnival Elation again. I'm excited for another 5-night voyage on this beautiful fantasy class ship. The itinerary is different this time. I'm going to Nassau as usual, but then also Bimini instead of last time I went to Princess Keys. So Bimini's nice, I've been there a couple of times, but I'm looking forward to actually both ports this time because I'm gonna get off and go explore and actually do things, unlike, you know, on recent cruises, especially in Nassau. I've been staying on board and being lazy. So I'm gonna make the most of this action-packed, you know, 5 days and all of that. Embarkation was smooth and painless, but anyway, so far so good. I've had a couple of drinks. I'm drinking water now because it's quite warm today. I left El Paso and it was freezing, and now it's, you know, 80 degrees and humid and all that stuff. You can see I'm sweating and whatever. But I want to thank you all so much for traveling with me. Be sure to like, comment, share, subscribe, all those fun things. We'll talk soon, and y'all have a good night.